Hey everybody, Debbie here with another Stratego game analysis. This is going to be game number 3 of our Playing From Behind series. I'm playing, I believe, a Silver Scout who has over 1,000 games experience, but has a 500 level record. So let's get started. Now we're going to do the major attack strategy, and this game is sped up 1.5%, so it's going a little bit faster. Now the one problem with the major attack strategy for me is there's so much to remember. It really overwhelms the memory because you're attacking on 3 lanes and so many pieces are moving, and then you have to remember what pieces your majors revealed. So it can be very tough to remember all the information you get. It's almost like an information overload. So we have a sergeant here and a sergeant here. Now one thing I didn't do is sometimes when you're playing low-level players, they have a balanced setup and they have a symmetrical setup. So if you're going to do this strategy, maybe you don't want to do 3 majors. Maybe if you do 2 majors, if they have a sergeant over here and a sergeant over here, if you attack here and this is let's say a captain, then this might be a captain. If this is a bomb, then this might be a bomb. So, you know, if you do well on this side, try to copy it on this side. Now I'm still learning how to do this attack strategy. It's not easy. I mean, when you're down 3 majors, it's definitely not easy. No matter who you're playing. I found out that humans are a lot tougher to beat than Heroic Battle, that's for sure. So the game Heroic Battle is a lot easier to defeat doing this method. So this major is really destroying. Oh boy, we got a sergeant, captain, lieutenant, and scout. So this looks like a high piece originating from here. We avoid that. So I should have hit this piece, but like I said, I'm new at learning this, and my memory's not so good. So we get a scout, but this actually was a captain, so it was semi-balanced. I wonder if this was a lieutenant and this was a scout. That would be funny. So we get a minor, so we're getting a lot of pieces. And what's nice, since we found a major, we're only going to be 2 majors down in this scenario. So that's really nice. Only down 2 majors. So we get another scout, and we finally find some information. We find the colonel, which was I think he started here. Or no, maybe he started here. That scout was from there up. Okay. So now I take my time here, and I'm thinking, and what I'm thinking is, what do I want to do here? Do I want to lotto any of these 3 pieces? Because they look like they could be bombs. Or should I attack this piece to see what it is? Because this might be the marshal. So I'm thinking the information is more important than finding a possible bomb. But I could get lucky and still keep on getting pieces. Right now, I looked over at the graveyard, and I have 12 of his pieces already. That's 30% of his army is gone. So these majors really destroyed his army. So I decided, since I got so many pieces, I decided I wanted to see what this is, to see if it is the marshal. Maybe I should have went for it. I don't know. Maybe I should have just kept on attacking. And my opponent was a little stunned. He was like, why is he coming to me? Why is he giving up? And it's because I wanted to know what it was. But I guess probably I should have attacked. Maybe I should have kept on going and found a bomb instead. Because I could have scouted this, but I don't have any scouts over here. But we're learning how to do the strategy, so it's going to take several hundred games before we have a good idea how to do it. So what I like to do now, we have a general revealed and a colonel revealed. So you want to look at the board and try to figure out how they set up. And I think it's a balanced setup because he had some good pieces over here in the colonel, and he has a general over here, and he has some pieces in the middle where he wants to attack. So I'm thinking this could be the marshal already, and I think that came from this side. So the flag might be on this side, and it's not in the corner. So I always tend to check this piece 4 over. Whatever side the marshal's on, I like to go 4 over and test to see if this piece is a bomb right here, 4 over. And if it's a bomb, then I think this is the flag, because a lot of times 4 over from the left is the most popular spot, and 4 over from the right is the second most popular spot. So then whatever side the marshal's on, it's usually 75, or no, it's around 70% of the time on the marshal side. So if we think the marshal side is this, then we'd like to test this with whatever this piece is to see if it's the flag. So now we have anytime I find a colonel or a general revealed, I like to, when I reveal one, I like to rush at it with a garbage piece, a scout, or a sergeant, just to see how my opponent reacts, to see if they run from the bluff, or if they, attack me and don't pay any attention to the bluff, or if they just stand still, thinking that, this is going to be a protection piece. Maybe it's a spy, maybe it's a marshal. So you want to find out what they do. And a lot of times bronze and silver players are not worthwhile bluffing because they usually don't take bluffs. They usually will attack your piece. They're not afraid. But I found out now with this 4 major blitz, when you rush in 4 majors and just start lottoing, attacking everything and lottoing at will, these players become very, very scared, and they become easily bluffable. So that's great for me because I love bluffing. So we're going to run at this general and see what he does. So he put a tripwire piece in front. He wanted to know what this piece was. And now this was funny on his turn though. Now he runs away. He stops protecting this piece. So he wants to get on the diagonal because he thinks this is a possible marshal, and he understands the 2 square rule. So what does that tell us about his setup? This move here, when he moves his general over here, what does that tell us about his setup? Pause the video and think for a minute what you can tell from his setup from this move where his general abandons and stops protecting this piece. What can you learn from his setup? Okay, what we can learn is he's afraid that this is a marshal, right? He thinks I'm crazy coming up with all sorts of high pieces. Now he thinks this could be the marshal. And his general's here. He doesn't want to get caught in this 2 square rule, because if he stays here and I take this piece, we're in sync in the same column, and he will get caught. So what this tells us then is this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece over here, and this piece is not his spy. He doesn't have a spy over here to protect his general. So that's why he got out of the way. So you can almost assume that all of these pieces, this, and this, are not the spy. So, I mean, it's pretty obvious that these 3 probably wouldn't be the spy, but this could be the spy, because I have one here, right? Or this could be the spy. But since he's scared and he doesn't bother protecting this piece, you can almost assume that both of these pieces are not the spy. So there's a lot of things you have to be aware of, and a lot of information you have to remember. And that's why this attack strategy can be so difficult to implement. So it turns out he was just a garbage miner, and this turns out to be a captain. So I really can't take advantage of that I know he doesn't have a spy over here because my marshal's way over here. And so, sometimes you learn stuff, but you can't use it to your advantage right away. But then, it tells me not to come up over here. He might have the spy near his colonel. So my goal now is to, we look at the scoreboard. He's way down in pieces. We want to try to get some more of the scouts, because once the scouts are gone, then our high pieces can roam the board freely and our spy can become active. And we want to get some more of these mid-level pieces, and maybe even one more major. It's almost, if we get one more major, we could almost swap out, because we're up a captain, we're up 3 lieutenants, we're even sergeants, up 2 minors, and up a scout. So we're doing really, really well. So in the previous 2 games, we didn't get much with our majors, but in this game, we decimated his army. I just wish we would have gotten more captains. And it would have been nice if we found a marshal. So, but I think the marshal might be this piece, because it's protecting these 2, and it came from over here behind the lake, or maybe one of these 3 pieces, because it has to protect this colonel. And then now sometimes I might, since I have a good lead in lower pieces, I might just sacrifice some of these pieces to get some more information. We'd like to find the marshal. So he was, whatever, 317 Silver Scout. With over 1,000 games experience. So he's going to want to protect his 2 major lead. He's going to bring up garbage pieces. You don't expect them to bring up strong pieces. And that's a captain, and that's the general. This looks like it might be a scout. I'd like to find out what this piece is, because I think this might be the marshal. So we get a captain here. We have a captain. And now, what I should have done here, he's coming down here. I think this might be a scout. But he's, we have a captain here. And I want to find out what this piece is. But what I should do, I actually attacked this piece here, but I screw up. What I should have done is move this piece over first. And then swap captains. And then I could have scouted this piece. But, sometimes you're in a hurry. If you don't play enough, you get rusty, and that's what you get. So he's hiding this piece. So it's pretty important. He doesn't want it disclosed. So he wants it to keep it hidden. So we want to target this piece. So we got to remember that. And the captain, general, something else. I think that's a scout. I don't know what that is. I don't think this is a good piece. So, see, that's, you're doing really well when they start bringing up their miners as scouts and they're not looking for bombs. Then you're really doing well, and that means you really decimated their army. When they're scouting with their miners, they're in trouble. This might be a good piece. This could be a colonel. And I think this might be the Marshall. And you can see he's moved a lot of pieces. A lot of spaces are vacant here. Now he gives me an opportunity to check this piece. He made a mistake. Unless this was a scout, he screwed up. He should have known I was targeting this piece. So his memory is as bad as mine, I guess. And it turns out it was a spy. So that's unusual. So what was he protecting? He was protecting a major. So at least that's pretty good. He was trying to be sneaky, and he was bringing down a major. And that's a good thing to do. What you want to do when you have a big lead of 2 or 3 majors is use one of those majors to come down, and maybe you can catch a captain or catch a lieutenant and then retreat back. And then he had the spy for protection. So that was a nice strategy, but he should have protected his spy. So now I think the majors might be, the Marshal might be one of these 3. So we find a colonel. That's great. I hope that wasn't the colonel that was over here, because that'd be scouting the same thing. So I'm thinking now this could be the Marshal. He wants to protect the major. And maybe I should have taken this with the Marshal. I was just concerned that the general might come down here and start lottoing. You know, because when you're down 2 majors, every piece counts. And maybe that was worth taking that captain with the Marshal instead of swapping. So now he wants to scout my Marshal. So that's why you have a scout in this column here. So he's bringing, this is probably another garbage piece. So I can move up my miner to hopefully stop the scout. So now I'm just moving out of the way. And this was a misclick. I should have moved up here. I wasn't paying attention. And it was like, whoops. But I'm glad he attacked me. And then we swapped real quick. I didn't know if I really wanted to swap, but you know, he came down real fast, so that was unfortunate since I had the spy advantage again. But at least we got the major. So now if we look at the scoreboard, I'm only down a major, but I'm up a captain. I'm up 3 lieutenants, down a sergeant, but I'm up 3 minors. And I'm looking really good. I could almost swap out right now. So what you should do during big moments of the game, you know, like when marshals are swapped, you should probably think about defense first. And I made a mistake here. I ran up with my general, and I should have come back down here and protected against his general attack. So I made that mistake. I shouldn't have done that. I went after the colonel, but it's not like I can catch the colonel. There's no traffic here. And you know, we screwed up. So at least I moved my colonel so he wouldn't lotto my colonel. So we get out of the way. So this captain's going to die here, unfortunately. But I'm going to get this scout, and I'm going to get this piece. And this is a minor. So see, I couldn't, you know, I can't get his colonel. So that was a waste of time. I should have come down here and played defense. So there's no chance of saving this captain, so we might as well take the scout. He takes me. I'm gonna get up there and take his minor. And wow. You don't expect that. He didn't have to do that. That was a little bit unexpected. He just lottos into this bomb. And I think, you know, they panic. I don't know why the lower level players, you know, you get your bronze and silver players, why they panic so much. But maybe it's because, you know, they don't know how to play from behind. But it was fairly close. You know, he was still up a major. And we were even in captains now. But he was down 3 lieutenants. So he was up a major and sergeant, but he was down 3 lieutenants, and he was going to be down here 4 minors. So that's a lot. But, you know, he still had some scouting pieces. He still had his general and 2 colonels. He should have played this out. He should have. That's the problem. A lot of silver and bronze players just don't have the patience, and then that really hurts them, and that's why they get stuck in their levels. They need to learn, you know, like I always say, if you give your opponent enough time, they'll screw up too, but you have to be smart enough to take advantage of it. And I think he should have definitely not lottoed yet. He should have used, he still had, like I said, he had 3 scouts. He had 2 more sergeants he could have brought down. And, you know, he could have had his colonels come down. I mean, if they came down here in lotto, they would have done severe damage. So he probably should have waited before lottoing. But he did lose a lot of pieces, so it's understandable. So anyway, so what we learned in this game is, you know, read before you lotto a big piece late in the game. Read the graveyard. Make sure, you know, that if you have to lotto, sometimes you have to lotto. But this was the case. I don't think he had the lotto yet. He still had 2 colonels, and he still had some scouting pieces left. And he knew my high piece. He knew where my general was. So, and he was going to find out where my colonel was if I got his minor here. So that just didn't make sense to lotto. And we also learned that, yeah, the 3 major attack can be very good in the beginning. You can get very lucky depending on the setup where you wipe out their army. Like I took almost 30% of his army out, you know, in the first, 30 moves or so. So, you know, I'm not so sure that 3 major attack will be good against really high level players because they know how to play with a big lead. But maybe using maybe lottoing with one major on one side, and then if you do really well, lotto on the other side, that could be effective. So, but anyway, this is how you play from behind. I didn't have to bleed him too much because this player basically panicked. So, but always after your major attack is done, try to read the board. Or anytime, you know, you're behind in pieces, try to read the board. Try to figure out where their high pieces are. And then, see, that's the one nice thing about the 3 major attack here is you get information at the beginning of the game that it would take a long time to find if you just played normally. I mean, you're going to find out, you going in there, you're going to get the information. You know, I even intentionally went into his general to get the information. So you're going to find information, but then you have to be smart enough to figure out how his board is set up and then figure out what to do. All right, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something in this game, and we'll work on the next one. Bye for now.